Another way to see and experience this 75-day long game is to acknowledge that this is the time that you are building the momentum and building credibility with yourself to know that you are creating the changes in your life from a foundational level that are allowing you and giving an opportunity for longevity in the manifestations you're calling in and in life in general. We're going to come back to part 2 of yesterday's message tomorrow, because today Spirit really wants to talk about foundational pieces of our day-to-day life. And for the first foundational piece here, Spirit wants to talk on the words that we choose to speak. When we are choosing to speak in a way, and when I say speak, I also want you to acknowledge that I'm also meaning think. Speaking and thinking are the exact same frequencies and energies because they are impacting your electromagnetic field in the exact same way. It's impacting the electromagnetic field of others, and it's impacting the electromagnetic field of the earth in the exact same way, whether you speak it or think it. Okay? When you are thinking and speaking through a space that is not calling in support from your spirit team that serves unconditional love, you are not speaking in a way that is allowing your spirit to continue to build a relationship with the dimension of your mind, the dimension of your body, the dimension of your emotions. Your spirit knows what's around the corner. Your spirit knows what is possible for you. Your spirit is experiencing everything that you are allowing them to experience in this lifetime. And even though your spirit knows what's possible, when you choose to give yourself permission to live up to what your ancestors know is possible, what your spirit guides knows is possible, what God sees and has in the works for you, when you give yourself permission to do so, it is then that your spirit can actually experience what it knows is around the corner. So if you've ever felt that energy of, oh my gosh, I can feel the change coming, know that that's your spirit letting you know that it's coming, right? And when you decide to become a master of the way that you speak, because you've decided that you are no longer giving time or space to doubt, scarcity, fear, and worry, that foundation of what is possible for your life and what we can call the norm of your life is then shifted. So Spirit wants me to go into a few things that this collective and the collective beyond who is here live has been experiencing and choosing to speak or think that is closing doors, whether you may or may not realize that you are choosing to do this. Bringing this forward, what Spirit is saying is by allowing ourselves to see this truth, it then gives us the permission to be more intentional about not allowing it. So the first phrase that Spirit is hearing far too often that is creating stagnancy in their ability to support you and those that you love and the world in general is the term or the phrase, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if this is something that I'm meant to be doing. I don't know, ... And this one, I'm going to be the first one to raise my hand to say that I acknowledge and I recognize when I've chosen to say these phrases, right? And I don't know is one that I've actually chosen to say quite a bit lately when I thought that I was empowering myself, and Spirit brought this forward and was like, this isn't empowering. This is closing the doors to what's possible. Now, I don't need to know and I don't know are two very different frequencies. When you say, I don't know, what you are telling your spirit team and showing your spirit team energetically is a lack of trust and a lack of efforting of seeing the evidence that they have provided to you up until this point. Whether that be somebody else experiencing what you desire or little trickles of evidence, right? For example, if I am saying I desire to make $100 today and I find a quarter on the floor, I have a choice to say, wow, thank you, ego. And we're not going to go too far into the ego today. We're going to keep it very simple today. You could also say, thank you, God, for providing this evidence that it is possible for you to support me in making $100 today. Another way that Spirit is saying, this is what a lot of people in the collective do. Oh, I found a quarter. I don't know if that's a sign that everything's working out in my favor. I don't know. I don't know if this is supposed to be a part of that $100 that I said that I want to make today. I don't know. Another place that I don't know shows up in people's worlds is, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing here on earth. I don't know if I'm on the right path. That there is going to be a telltale sign that you are not using your words to support yourself. You are using your words to defeat yourself. Rather than saying, I don't know what I'm meant to do in this lifetime, what Spirit needs you to do instead is lean into and look at the things that you are curious about. I really enjoy learning about herbs and how herbs support our body and how herbs can be medicine. Because one thing that has been really shoved down the throats of the spiritual community, I'm going to use that terminology, and really programmed into the minds of millions of people is that they have a purpose here on earth. And if they don't find that exact purpose, that they're not living up to what God has brought forward. And what your spirit team needs you to know is that so long as you are supporting yourself by doing things that you love to do, keeping your mind and your words in a space that is allowing yourself to speak to limitless possibilities, so long as it is coming from a space of evolution and growth, and so long as you are operating in love, unconditional love, right? We're always striving to get to the space of unconditional love, but not transactional, but through a space of love, then you are, quote unquote, as the humans would like to say it, Spirit's giggling right now, living up to your purpose. Your purpose is not determined on exactly what you are doing. It's determined on the frequency, the energy behind what you're doing. So, you're curious about herbs and you love to learn about it, and you discover a new way that to bring herbs to the collective in a global way. Yeah, that's big vision dream there. Is it possible? Yes. Are you living up to your purpose? Answer these questions. Do you enjoy it? Are you loving it? Are you bringing yourself into a space of holy buckets? I enjoy what I do and I'm loving the experience I'm having with it and it feels so delicious and I am creating more love in this world. Boom, you're living up to your purpose. So that phrase, I don't know, guess what happens when you say, I don't know what I'm meant to do? You call in more energy that creates even more confusion in the dimension of your mind that supports that frequency of confusion. Underworld beings that also lived a life full of saying, I don't know, and they will continue to support you in that statement and knowing that you can very easily shift this energy by shifting and choosing to speak in a different way. And this is exactly what we said earlier with building up the foundational framework of who you be and the way that you operate in this world, right? For the next few days, we're going to go very simple with it because it is simple, guys. Nothing in life is complicated. We as humans love to think that more complicated steps and more complicated movement is better or means that it's more evolved. That is not always the case. We've convinced ourselves that it is, and we can very easily convince ourselves that it's not by choosing to do the simple things and giving ourselves evidence of what it looks like when we decide to be so intentional about the way that we speak. And we're going to stick with that today. There's a million other things on the list that we're going to go through in the next however many days. 54 days, 56 days, 56, right? But we're going to stick here with the way that we speak. So the way that we speak, another one that Spirit is really bringing forward is you get an idea from the muses, or you know that there is something that you would love to do, that you're curious about, you're passionate about it, you're allowing yourself to lean into that. And instead of rolling with it, you ask the question of, yeah, but how's that going to work? How's that going to work out? How is that ever going to happen? How am I going to make it happen? How? When you ask the question of how is the very first experience that you're forwarding onto your spirit team that you are not trusting or looking for evidence that they are supporting that big vision dream that you have, that idea that came forward. And Spirit's saying, let's go ahead and go into some other questions and we'll talk about it from that framework. How, when, where, and why. Those are going to be the 4 questions. And I know you're taught these very early on in writing stories or answering questions, that you're going to answer the how, where, when, and why, right? Now, the why, Spirit's saying it depends on where you're asking the why. Why am I doing this? Because I love to do it. Okay, great. But if you're asking questions like, why is this happening to me? Or why isn't it working out? Who do you think that's calling in to support you? Spirits that are creating the supportive energy that it is working out, or spirits that want to answer that question of why it's not working out and give you more evidence of why it's not going to work out anymore? I kind of just answered that question for you. B, the spirits that want you to continue to ask the questions of why is this happening to me, so that you can continue to get evidence of why something that you aren't desiring is happening, instead of observing and acknowledging, oh, this is an interesting thing that's occurring. And using your voice and the words that you're speaking and thinking to shift the energy of what is happening right here, right now. Okay? So the questions, how is it going to work out? Where is it going to happen? Who's it going to happen with? Why is this happening to me? Why isn't this happening? These are all questions that are not creating support from your spirit team. Now, the one question that your spirit team that serves unconditional love is wanting you to ask is what? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is it? What? Because when you ask the question of what, you are providing a landscape for new opportunities and ideas to grow from. You're providing that space for your spirit team to bring those answers forward. The other questions are being answered by beings that do not serve unconditional love. The question of what brings forward an opportunity for your spirit team that serves unconditional love to support you with. Now, spirit is also saying this isn't like an end all, right? You could ask the question of, why does it always work out in my favor? Yes, that is going to call in a spirit team that serves unconditional love. Okay? You are all very powerful people, and you have the ability to use your discernment when it comes to what questions you're choosing to ask. What Spirit is saying is the majority of the how, the why, the where, the when, the who questions, the majority of those questions being asked by the collective are being asked from a space that is creating the opportunity for beings that do not serve unconditional love to support. But use your discernment. Use your discernment and know that when you're asking the questions, if you do ask the questions of, why does it always work out for me? You are building a relationship with those that serve unconditional love. So don't question yourself when that happens. But Spirit's saying right now we're going very simple. Right now we're just going very simple to support ourselves in getting the framework and the foundation built so that as we continue to evolve, this is not something that is creating stagnancy in our evolution, in our ability to continue to go higher with our communication. And that's a conversation for another day. So we've got the I don't know phrase. We've got the questions of how, why, who, where, when. Another one that Spirit is saying is when people use their words to look back to the past. Yeah, well, last time it didn't work out. Last month, I only made $100. How am I going to make $1,000? Boom. There's two ways in which you're calling in underworld beings in those two statements. So what Spirit is saying, for the sake of simplicity, any time that you go back to the past, and we talked about this in yesterday's riff, but for the next 56 days, for those of you here in the 75-day long game, for the next 56 days, give yourself permission to not use the past as any sort of evidence of what is coming forward. What is happening for you in the next moment? What is happening for you right now? What is occurring right here, right now? Because when you give yourself permission to not utilize the past, anytime you use the past, it's limiting. Even if it was a positive experience, God knows that there's greater available to you. So anytime that you use the past with your words or with your thinking mind, you are limiting yourself and you are defeating yourself before you've given your chance to experience the greatness that is available to you. And last but certainly not least, I doubt. The phrase I doubt. Even if you're not actually using the word doubt, the word that Spirit's really bringing forward here is how. How's it going to work out? How's it going to work out? Yeah, that'd be really awesome if I won that brand new van, but I doubt it'll happen. Yeah, it'd be awesome if that happened, but I doubt it will. Boom. You're showing a lack, again, of trust. Miss Julie asked a beautiful question of what exactly is our role in the co-creation process. And one of the greatest parts of our roles, one of the biggest parts, is our ability to trust and look for evidence that our spirit team that serves unconditional love is supporting us. Sometimes that evidence has nothing to do with the big vision dream. Yesterday, I walked into this place. It's called Rose Cat Coffee, and they hire people with different experiences in life, like Down syndrome and other operational differences, mental operational differences. And I walk in, and when I tell you, I just wanted to cry right away because of the love that I felt in that space. Happy tears. I'm a daily crier because of happy tears. Some of you get it. That right there is evidence of support from my spirit team. It's what you choose to make of every experience, whether you are looking for evidence of support or not. It is what you choose to create from your experiences of whether you are choosing to find evidence of support or not. I also talked about this in Julie's beautiful question. So if you are in the 75-day long game, dig into the Q&A area. I talked about the 4 main frequencies of the matrix: doubt, worry, fear, and lack. Doubt is the spirit. Would you agree that doubt is the number one? They're all equally permissive in getting support from underworld beings, but doubt happens the easiest in the mind. So not so much speaking out loud, but in the mind. Is it ever going to happen? Yeah, I don't know if it'll happen. Be really awesome, but I don't know if it'll happen. When we doubt, we open up a can of worms that are not gummy worms, and they are not tasty. I'll tell you that much. So how do we shift this? What does it look like? Thank you, Spirit, for correcting me there. What does it look like to shift this? 1, using phrases like, I love that I'm feeling the abundance around me right now. Using phrases that are speaking to, I love ... Yeah, Spirit's like, let's go ahead and list out 3 things to focus on to really give ourselves the space to begin to shift the way that we speak and think. This is going to require dedication. This is going to require determination. This is going to require you being willing to be uncomfortable and not caring if other people are uncomfortable. If you've been in my world for a minute, you know I've told you this before. People that are around me, they hear me say, I say yes to that all of the time. So much so that people around me have started saying it too. because I love it. And I say yes to that. Right? So Spirit's like, there's number one. One, I want you to begin saying out loud, and Spirit is saying that this will support you in ways that you have not even given yourself the opportunity to imagine. I want you to begin to say out loud, I say yes to that, to anything that you are finding enjoyment and loving that you're experiencing it. Like the sun just came out from behind the clouds. I say yes to that. I had a beautiful experience at the coffee shop this morning and tried a new type of coffee. I say yes to that. I say yes to trying new things. I say yes to experiencing more friendly, happy people in my life. I say yes to that. Expand on it. Okay? Number 2, begin to say and speak out what it is that you are desiring to experience. Not what you're not desiring to experience, what you are desiring to experience, and speak as if it's already done. So let's say that I am calling in a new one-on-one client today. I am. So thank you, Spirit. We'll use this example. I love that my soulmate clients are thinking about me right here, right now, and they are getting ready to message me on Instagram asking how they can pay me for one-on-one sessions to change their life in ways that they didn't even know were possible. I love that that is happening right now. Whew. And then I want you to wait a moment so that you can really feel it, so you can really experience it. I say yes to this long riff. I say yes to this being supportive, and I say yes to the aha moments that have occurred today. Speak that out. Give yourself permission to feel it once you say it. And Spirit's like, we will go further into that, but for today, we're keeping it simple with the way that we're choosing to speak. Whew. So number 1, number 2, Spirit, what is the third and last shift that we are making for the way that we're choosing to speak and think that is supporting us in a way that is creating more of what we desire? What I want you to begin to do, and what Spirit is saying is going to be very supportive for you, is when you are feeling or seeing that you have been using words that are creating slow moving energy in your life, instead of going into, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been doing this again, what I want you to say out loud is, Spirit, show me what it looks like to shift the words I've been speaking around this topic. So let's say that I have been thinking about what it looks like to generate $1,000 in the next hour. And I've been asking the question of, yeah, but how's that going to happen? I've never seen that happen before. I don't even know if it's possible, blah, 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 right? Ugh, gross. No, thank you. And instead of racking my brain and saying, I don't know how I'm going to shift this, I simply want you to say, Spirit, show me what it looks like to shift the way I've been speaking about making $1,000 in the next hour. Whew. And then you're just going to listen, and you're going to feel, and you're going to see. Your spirit loves to provide you opportunities to show you the way things can shift in your life rapidly. Give them the opportunity to do so by asking them. All right. Now that I've been speaking for 30 minutes, I say yes. I love when 30 minutes feels like a minute because we're having so much fun and we're just letting spirit go. And we love, we love the wisdom that spirit provides. And Camden, I love that you have chosen to be a channel. Thank you for choosing to be a channel to allow spirit to flow through here. I say yes to that. What I want you to do in your journals, if you've been doing the journaling vibe, if you've just been speaking it out loud, amazing. I know that many of you have been doing the journal vibe, so I'm going to continue to speak to that. In the journal, I just want you to riff with your spirit with the 3 different shifts here. And I'll write them in the description here. I love that. Show me how. Oh, I say yes. And we're just going to riff with your spirit. And if you want to set a number, right? If you want to do 10 of each, do 10 of each. If you want to do 5 of each, do 5 of each. You are all very powerful people. Use your discernment for what you know will support you. This is delicious. And I love you so freaking much. Of course, share in the group what comes forward as you are riffing with your spirit. Let's hype each other up. Let's continue to trailblaze this life together. I love you.